I would love 2 fish fillet sandwiches. I never had a fish fillet before in my life. This is my first time.
They're good.
Have you had it? You've had it? You like it?
Yeah, they're okay.
I
don't normally get them.
Just okay.
Well, I guess they're good, yeah.
I don't normally get it either, but today is the day. Today's a big day for me.
Before you open the door, or to shine on the floor.
4 years ago, I wrote this essay called McDonald's is my favorite restaurant, and I recently reread it and found myself disagreeing with a lot of what I had written. I grew up a McDonald's fanatic. I wanted to eat there all the time. After I watched Super Size Me, I proceeded to eat at McDonald's for my next 4 meals just to show my loyalty. The problem with my essay was that I was viewing whether or not fast food is good or bad through my own personal experience. And for me, it's not that bad. I don't go there that often. And when I do, it's convenient and delicious. The costs are relatively low and the benefits are relatively high. But I realize now that that was a selfish view of the issue. There are a ton of costs that I wasn't considering to society, to the planet, to other people, and the benefits were pretty much the same. Easy and delicious meal for Jack. Convenient for Jack. Let's do some fast food history. Take a look at some of the costs I wasn't considering before. Also, let's do a review of the Filet-o-Fish with my brother Kieran because it's fun and because I can't believe I never had one before.
Thank you. Wow. This is it. Very big moment. Very, very big moment for us.
Fast food started off as a positive force in our society. Cleanliness, speed, efficiency, industrialization. The first McDonald's opened in 1948, not long after the end of World War II. The country was at the beginning of a post-war boom. Americans were moving into the suburbs, they had some disposable income, car ownership skyrocketed, and the interstate system would soon start spreading across the continent. America was ripe for innovation, and it came in the food industry. From the 1960s to the 1990s, McDonald's grew like wildfire, basically by inventing a new form of highly functional restaurant. They turned their kitchens into little factory-like assembly lines, which had never been done before, and they made service much faster. McDonald's looked like the future of food. Fast, easy, and delicious. Throughout the 60s and 70s, fast food companies across the USA are competing with each other, and they find they can charge less and make more money if they change their ingredients and use more processed and frozen foods. And customers didn't really notice the difference. We were hooked, and at the time, people really didn't see these changes as all too problematic. In January 1990, McDonald's opened in Moscow, building a bridge to communist Russia. McDonald's was a sign of peace. The 1990s was peak McDonald's, massive international growth. This was a signature American export at a time when America was a beacon of prosperity and all that was good in the world. And then, in the 2000s, the illusion came crashing down.
That's it. That's the stuff right there. You know, one thing you really cannot deny is the deliciousness of the McDonald's French fries. Every time. Here's a fun fact. This McDonald's right here, Kieran applied for a job.
Yeah.
Kieran, he didn't get it. He couldn't get a job at McDonald's. How old were you when you...
Like 14.
And then you just got denied.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit more complicated than that. I think
Your first rejection.
Yeah, I didn't really have the skills.
You think they would take you right now?
I don't know.
Maybe go in, get an application.
Yeah, I don't know why I got rejected, but
I gotta set this thing up like a real YouTube food reviewer.
At McDonald's it's great.
The pushback comes at the end of the 20th century. Obesity has gone up over 20% since the 1970s, and fast food gets a lot of the blame. I mean, it's not just a coincidence that obesity increased at the same time the fast food industry grew so much. Yet fast food remained and remains a growing industry. In 1970, Americans spent about $6 billion on fast food. Now that number is over $350 billion. Americans spend more money on fast food than on higher education. We spend more on fast food than on movies, books, magazines, newspapers, video games, and music combined.
Fish fillet, baby. Here's yours. I can't even stress how monumental.
wow. It's more like kind of pristine than like the other, right? Like this bun is so just
Very square.
yeah. It's just like very.
It smells fishy, dude. It just smells like a fish stick. It's a pretty
of
small
sauce.
square of It says it's wait. Let's read the box here.
This bun is like too perfect.
The Bering Sea sends its regards. Wild caught Alaskan pollock. Wild caught fish.
Yeah, you wouldn't guess.
In these, I wonder, like, who fished this up and when. Like, you know, can you? That's something McDonald's could incorporate. Is they could put like a little thing you scan on here and you meet the fisherman who caught your Filet-o-Fish. All right. Are you just going to dive in?
Here's a fun fact that maybe you didn't know. More people work in Arby's than in the entire coal industry. The fast food industry employs 3.8 million Americans. The thing about fast food jobs is the average salary is $13,500 a year. Half of fast food workers rely on food stamps just to get by. Imagine working full-time, 40 hours a week, and you still have to rely on food stamps to get by. Now let's talk about consumers. 1% of the world's population eats at McDonald's every single day. From 2013 to 2016, 36.5% of American adults consume fast food on any given day. Put another way, over 1/3 of the country eats fast food every single day. Fast food is a big business. Lots of jobs, lots of economic activity, all from one industry. But there's another part of this problem that we haven't considered yet. The industrial food system. Basically how food gets from the planet into our stomachs. Sort of. I'll explain.
All right, ready? Let's go. First bite. It's nice and cheesy. Doesn't taste fishy at all.
Yeah, it's more like the tartar sauce, I think, is what you associate with eating fish, but the actual fish doesn't really taste fishy, right?
It tastes, it's like a lighter McChicken, you know? It's like a light chicken nugget.
It's good.
It is good.
I think it's really good.
The industrial food system is basically the industry that produces most things that we eat and also some things that we don't eat. Their output can be broken into two categories, whole foods and commodities. Whole foods are products that are finished on the farm, like a head of lettuce or a chicken. Commodities are food products that go to a plant to become something else, like ethanol or corn syrup. Since 1977, farmers have produced 500 additional calories per person per day. In theory, this is a good thing. More calories equals less people going hungry. In reality, all those extra calories have come in the form of sugar and fat, as the industrial food chain has made these energy-dense products the cheapest foods on the market in terms of cost per calorie. As a result, in the same time frame, Americans' average daily intake of calories has increased by 10%, with much of that coming from processed foods, not whole foods. This is not a good thing. 90% of the money that Americans spend on food is on processed foods. When you're hungry, you need calories to fill you up, processed or otherwise. But not all calories are created equal. Which brings us to the question of health. Is fast food truly unhealthy?
First of all, better or worse than you expected?
Better than I expected.
Tastier. Definitely tastier.
I mean, if 10 is like a Big Mac or a McChicken, which I think are like the pinnacles, then this, I mean, it's definitely probably an 8.3.
8.3.
Like a low eights. Because it's not, there's nothing bad about it at all.
I would give the fish fillet a 7.5 out of 10. I mean, across the board, I think McDonald's food always tastes good. And this was up there. You know, this was, I think because I've been eating the burgers and the chicken my whole life, that's what I'll go back to. But this isn't like far off from that at all. It's like fits right in with the rest of the stuff. All my stigma against the fish fillet has been erased on this lovely sunny day.
It's easy to put the blame on fast food for our health problems because yes, if you eat it for every meal, you'll get really sick. Yes, fast food is unhealthy. If you've seen Super Size Me, all that is pretty clear. But I think in that movie, Coke got off pretty easy. Morgan Spurlock was pounding massive Cokes with every meal that he ate. A medium Coke has 59 grams of sugar. A Big Mac has only 9. Supermarket shelves are lined with processed foods that are filled with sugars and fats. But when's the last time you heard someone blame the supermarket for our health problems? At the end of the day, there's a very simple equation we can use to keep track of our weight. Calories in versus calories out, regardless of whether those calories are made up of sugar or vegetables. And for Americans, average calorie intake is 10% higher than it was in 1977. That's why we're getting fatter. The problem is fast food tastes really good, and it's really easy to get our hands on.
It's crazy how unfishy it is. You know? It has like no fishy flavor to it at all. This
Which is
is like
really
a good
good,
starter fish option. If
Yeah.
you know you're not a fish eater.
For sure.
Taste is what makes fast food a comfort food. You grew up on it. And that's what my essay was about. I love how those fries taste. They trigger a childhood nostalgia response in my brain. This is why fast food is addictive. Psychologists at Princeton did a study that said, by stimulating the brain's natural opioids, large doses of these foods can produce a high that is similar, though less intense, to that produced by heroin and cocaine. So I want to conclude this video by writing a new essay or an open letter to McDonald's and to some of my other favorite fast food brands. You guys have us. You are everywhere throughout the country. You're a huge business. You're obviously not going away. But you also have an enormous opportunity because of your influence on the industrial food chain, because of your influence on our brains and our nostalgia mechanisms to make a major positive impact on this country. Start serving better food. Have a positive impact on the planet. Have a positive impact on people's diets. Make this country better. You can do it easier and quicker than anyone else. Raise the prices if you have to. That's okay. I'd be willing to pay more for better, higher quality food that's somewhat reasonably sourced, that's still delicious. And I'll get a little whiff of those French fries as I walk through the doors. McDonald's, I love you. I'll always love you. But you can charge more, sell better food, pay your employees better, and we'll love you more than ever. And I promise, if you do these things, your stock price will go up too. That's it for now. See you next time. Peace.
Tell me what does it mean?
It's following up the fish with a little Big Mac action. How does it compare?
There's a lot more going on. More flavor.
Yeah.
The fish is just, there's less ingredients, and the fish doesn't taste that much ingredient, so.
There's more flavor in the burger than there is in the fish.
Yeah.
For sure.